and this is This Week in Vegas.
The Ninth Island Connection podcast, and it's number 10.
Number 10. We made it. 10 weeks.
Woohoo! Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're not familiar with our podcast, all we do is bring you what's going on this week in Vegas. News, weather, events, our experiences, all that kind of good stuff. All right, let's get to it, starting with the news. First up on our list, Santana has announced some new dates for the fall, September 17th through the 28th and November 5th through the 16th, and tickets are on sale. Santana has had a residency here in Vegas for years, over at House of Blues in Mandalay Bay. And it's like, if you've never been to House of Blues at Mandalay Bay, it is an awesome venue. It's such an intimate, small venue, but just acoustically great. Yeah. There's not a bad seat in the house.
Not really. No, yeah. I mean, it depends on
unless you get somebody
there
standing in front of you.
Yeah, like we saw the Dan Band there a couple times, and down in the, I guess the pit area, right in front of the stage, can get a little bit crowded, but it's still a great venue for music. Highly recommend, and I would go to House of Blues over Allegiant Stadium, T-Mobile, any of those bigger venues. I'd go to House of Blues any day of the week over those guys.
Yeah, and that's obviously a show that is doing very well here in Vegas, because when shows are still here, you know they're doing well.
And he's been here for a minute.
Yes, he has. And I just have to take a little sidebar with Carlos Santana. We had him on our show a few years ago, and that was probably one of my favorite interviews. It was kind of done in a different way than we usually do when we do an interview for the show. I mean, we had a very strict time limit.
Call.
Yeah, it was like, all right, next person, because, he does every interview all at one time. But it was a lot of fun. He is such a nice guy. Just a really down-to-earth, cool person.
Very humble.
Yeah.
He's very humble, very grateful.
Which was surprising. Yeah, it was really surprising. And the interview was done, he owns just like, it looked like a warehouse, or like not a warehouse building, but just like an office building in the middle of nowhere in Vegas. And you walk in and it had like all of his like music memorabilia.
All of his Grammys.
Yeah, it was so cool. I mean, like that experience in itself was really cool. But for somebody who's just a like musical icon, I mean, I loved the guy. He was great. So, and then of course, I mean, the music from Santana, I mean, that's just classic music. So if you're a Santana fan, or you're looking for just something different to do, that's a great venue and a great show.
And one of the things about him that I really appreciated, and I think you guys will as well, if you go to the show, to one of his shows, is that he prefers to do smaller venues. I mean, he's world known, Grammy after Grammy after Grammy after Grammy. Yeah. And he could play anywhere, but he said he prefers smaller venues so that he can connect with the audience more, and he likes to really see the audience and be close to them. Which I think is pretty cool, because somebody at his caliber does not have to perform. No. Like, he's good.
Yeah, no, Santana could be selling out.
I'm sure he's good with just royalties for income. He just chooses to because he enjoys it, and I think that really comes through with how he chooses to perform and the venue that he's choosing to be in.
Yes. All right. Enough of us gushing over Carlos Santana. Let's move on to the next thing.
I don't gush.
Well, I was gushing.
All right, so the Museum of Illusions is doing an interactive 90s, 2000s experience for a limited time, which Museum of Illusions is already interactive. So they're just bringing like a 90s, 2000s spin to this experience. Which should be pretty cool if you grew up in the 90s like I did. I consider myself a 90s person. That was my teen years. I think it's really cool, and I love all things 90s, early 2000s pop culture. Yeah. So I for sure will definitely be checking this out. But hit them up, check out their website for more information on that experience.
Yeah, because I believe it is a limited time experience. All right, and if you're not familiar with Museum of Illusions, that is located over in the area between the Cosmopolitan and the Shops at Crystals. Yep. kind of near where they built a new Ross and Jason Aldean's new
that one is
restaurant.
upstairs. It's downstairs from there.
Yeah.
So it's right there. It's not very far from anything on the Strip. Definitely walkable if you're staying on the Strip there.
Yep. All right, next up, this is an interesting little story. At the Four Queens, a man found a cash out slip from a slot machine that was $1,500, and he turned it into security so that security could help track down the rightful owner. And for his honesty, he was awarded a $250 gift card to a restaurant there, Hugo's Cellar, I believe. Yeah, so, I mean, at least, he got some kind of reward for his good, honest deed. But I don't know. I mean, like $250 versus $1,500.
Well, they can track that down. So my uncle left a slip in a machine, and it was like a couple $100 or something at Caesars. And he went to security. He said he was just gone for maybe a minute. He turned around and it was gone. So he went to security and said, hey, I just left a slip there and now it's gone. And security actually took a look at the cameras. This is at Caesar's Palace. It just happened a few weeks ago. And security was able to find the person on the camera that was there that cashed out the slip and then track them down in the casino, and went and found him and said, hey, you took $200 out of that machine that doesn't belong to you. And he gave it back. Security was like, you got to give it back. That's theft.
But, in that situation, from what your uncle and your aunt were saying, it wasn't like it was, this person sat down, an hour later. I mean, it was like within, as he was less than a minute, walking away towards her, and she said, hey, did you cash out? And he said, oh, I forgot to cash out. And he turned around and it was gone. Yeah.
And it was that fast.
Yeah.
And we talk about that. There's a lot of opportunists in Vegas. I've lost my phone a couple of times. My fault completely, where I've sat it down, walked away. And I own up to that.
Yeah.
That's why you guys see me carrying like a satchel or a fanny pack around my waist, or a satchel here, because I'm one of those people that will set my stuff down, and get up and walk away and completely forget about it. So I can see that happening. And there are people that unfortunately just watch. They just walk around and they just cruise and they just watch people and wait for an opportunity like that. I'm not saying that that's what happened with my uncle, but you never know. You just have to be aware of your surroundings and make sure when you're leaving a machine, you're cashing out, you've got your phone, wallet, keys, like the Adam Sandler song, and just don't make that mistake.
Yeah, because it's really a pain in the butt. I mean, we depend on our phones so much, and they do blend in to the machines, so it's easy to leave them there. And there's people. We were at Venetian one time, and I had a bonus, and Sebastian just decided I'm going to pop over and check it out, and had his phone because he still had everything in the machine next to me, just kind of around the way, and he watched somebody snatch his phone and had to chase him down.
Yeah, this guy walked by the machine, never stopped walking. He walked by, grabbed my phone, kept walking, and I saw him, and I approached him and I grabbed his arm and I said, that's my phone. And he said, oh, I thought it was mine. And I called him out. I said, no, you didn't. I saw you grab it, and I took it back from him, and he just ran off through the casino and got out of there. Is that the wisest thing to do, to confront somebody like that? But it was a crowded casino, and there was security was standing right there also, so I felt pretty safe. And again, that was my fault. That situation, completely my fault, because I left it sitting there and I moved over like 10 inches to look at Kristine's machine as she was getting a bonus, and he just walked by and grabbed it. So it does happen. Just be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, and so the best case when you're in Vegas, just to kind of, avoid those type of things, like Sebastian said, just double check yourself before you wreck yourself. Did I just date myself there?
Yes. Yes, you did.
But I always have, ladies, have your purses on the front, over your shoulder, just kind of that way. So everything is in front of you. Don't have things in your pockets.
That could fall out.
Use fanny packs. I mean, they're not the most attractive thing, but they're the most practical thing in Vegas. Or a satchel. Anything that's going to keep all your valuables right here attached to you, so that they don't get taken away from you by those people who, unfortunately are out there. Yeah.
So F1, it's pretty split on how people feel about F1. I know, actually, it's not pretty split. Majority of locals are not fans, and that's so many different reasons. I think the finances, the businesses that benefit from F1, all those dollars pretty much leave Vegas.
Well, we don't want to get into
for the
an
most
F1
part.
debate. That's not
So,
what this is about.
But they bought this land back there behind, it's like behind PH, huh? Like
Yeah.
behind Planet Hollywood, back there on Colville, the paddock, the F1 Grand Prix headquarters, Las Vegas headquarters is there. They're going to be utilizing that space. So they're going to have some interactive activities. They're going to have race simulations. They're going to have go-kart racing there. Of course, they're going to have retail and all of that other stuff there. But it's actually nice that they're utilizing that space. And what that does, that's going to create more local jobs, which I'm a big fan of that. Those are local jobs that they're creating that stay here in Vegas. So I'm always a big fan of those types of things there. And they're actually utilizing that space, which is nice to see because it just sits there dormant, just like a vacant parking lot with a building until F1. And that's been the case for the past couple of years. So they're actually going to be using that space now.
Yeah, and I'm a little curious to see how an attraction like this does just with tourists coming in as well as with locals, because usually like F1 is such an isolated event as far as like even like the F1 merchandise and all the displays that you see and everything. So I wonder how they'll do, if it'll be pretty slow and then maybe closer to F1 time if it's going to get busier or not. I don't know, but
we'll see.
Wish them luck. All right, we called this one last week. We were talking about how when Beyonce announced that she's having a show at Allegiant Stadium, we said, I bet there'll be a second one added because that seems to be the case.
Well, they
usually.
were announcing the pre-sale for the first date and just working in events. The pre-sale is a teaser. They really just want to gauge how quickly they sell out before they add another date based on the interest on the first date.
Yeah, but
and with Beyonce, of course, she's going to sell out.
Exactly. They should just had 2 shows. Maybe add a third because she's going to sell them both out.
Yeah.
That's what happened last year. So. Moving on, completely opposite of Beyonce, we're going to Wicked Spoon at the Cosmopolitan. If you guys are not familiar, that is their awesome buffet. I'm not, like I've said this before, I'm not a buffet person, but I do like Wicked Spoons because it's smaller little portions kind of already set for you, and it's really good. It's really high quality.
Great service. I feel like the location is perfect because some of the other buffets are like right off of the casino floor.
Yeah.
And it can be just really crowded, you know, even if you're not going to the buffet. I love that Wicked Spoons buffet. It's just upstairs. It's kind of like down the hall a little bit. It's not massive crowd out there. Doesn't really interfere with the rest of the casino. I just like everything about it. Where it's at, the service is always top notch. It's so roomy and nice and kind of like elegant in there. Yeah. The food portions, there's like portion control there, so you don't feel like a glutton, even though that's what buffets are for.
Yeah. But, well, you're gonna really like this because they brought back their BOGO.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're gonna have a buy one get one on buffets every day of the week. So for Monday through Friday, the prices are $23.50 per person.
That's what it works out to.
Yeah, what it works out to. So. And then for Saturdays and Sundays, it's going to kind of be about $27 a person once you break it out with a BOGO.
Yes. That's when you're splitting the cost with another person. It comes out to about $23 during the week and $27 on the weekends.
But that is a great deal because if you think about some of the restaurants, and I'm not going to call out you restaurants, you know who you are overcharging everybody with your expensive prices, you could pay, you know, $24, $25 for ham and cheese omelet.
Yeah, an omelet.
I mean, you know, like something like ridiculous. So this is a great deal and you can sample a lot of things, but definitely go hungry because it's a buffet and they have a lot of choices there. I might have to add that. I may go to a buffet with you.
I'm sure I can find a friend.
Worth it.
I'm sure I can find a friend, somebody that will want to go with me.
Okay, I'm not invited now? Okay.
Well, you don't like buffets. You just said it like 5 times.
I know.
She did just say that a bunch of times.
I said I don't typically like buffets, but I like Wicked Spoon, and for that price, it's worth it because even if I just ate an omelet at the omelet station, it's the same price as what I would pay.
You're actually saving money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so we've got the Rotunda, which is that space right on the corner of, Well, across from the Link Promenade.
Yeah.
On Las Vegas Boulevard, that big dome right there, like by valet parking and self-parking. It's a pretty busy intersection right across from the Link Promenade there on Las Vegas Boulevard. There's that dome, that rotunda right there that's just been sitting empty for as far back as I can remember. I've never known of anything going on there since I've come to Vegas. And my first time in Vegas was 2008. And now we live there, of course, and I've never heard of anything happening there.
Yeah.
Apparently, at some point in Caesar's past, that they actually use that for different things. I don't know what. That's before my coming to Vegas time.
Yeah.
But they haven't used it in so long, and that's valuable real estate. I mean, that's on Las Vegas Boulevard, right in the center, and they're realizing like, hey, we've got this prime opportunity right there. So they finally decided they're going to take it down. At some point in 2025, they're going to take it down. Who knows what will go there? Probably more grandstands for F1.
Well, didn't they, like, when the first year of Formula One, they were looking at tearing that down for grandstands for Formula One. So you may be right. That might be what's going there. Yeah. And who knows what it'll be the rest of the year. Yeah. But we'll see.
That's prime real estate, though.
Well, more construction. I mean, if that's one thing that Caesar's Palace is good for is construction, because there's always something happening inside or outside of that casino. I swear, they're always doing a facelift.
If you're a carpenter, hit them up.
All right, next up, we got to talk about the Flamingo Go Pool. Now, I know we said, as we listened, and we were told it was going to be St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. The Go Pool was going to be open. And guess what? That did not happen.
But a lot of stuff, I feel like, and I'm not saying this is a Caesars thing. I think it's just a Vegas thing. It's a Vegas thing, like, never trust dates for construction or when something is going to actually open. Yeah. It's not open until it's open, which is cliche, but that is Vegas to a T.
Well, I think there's a lot of like wishful thinking, and we really want to get things open at this time, but I have yet to see any major project in Vegas
completed on time
when it says it's going to open. So
I mean, I think maybe just changing the language, like we're shooting for this date, we have a goal of this date, but they put firm dates on this Go Pool. They said we're opening by this day, book your cabanas now. Yeah,
and now they changed the date to April 11th. So I mean,
it's not going to happen.
I don't know.
I'm going to say it's not going to happen. I saw a video on social media. You guys on social media, just search Flamingo Go Pool. I'm sure you'll see various videos that people have taken from their hotel rooms. The last one that I saw just a couple days ago was just piles of dirt out there. Like, there's no concrete deck. There's no deck at all. Their holes are dug for where the pools are going to go, but there's construction equipment out there and piles of dirt.
And of course, whatever you see on social media is true.
Well, somebody was, like, when I saw it, they had just posted it, like, I'm staying here at Flamingo. And it was the day before I saw it, they posted it. Yeah. I find it very hard to believe that it's going to change from what I saw to what they're advertising.
Yes, but
by April 11th.
You do have to remember, though, there are, especially in Vegas, there's a lot of people who put up videos that are not necessarily accurate depictions of what's actually happening in Vegas. We see that a lot. Yeah. And we're in Vegas a lot, so when we see those things, we like to fact check them.
I'm saying, I don't think April 11th is going to happen.
Okay. Well,
Prove me wrong, Flamingo. Prove me wrong, because we definitely want to check out that pool once they open.
Right.
But I'm not holding my breath that it's going to happen this summer.
You don't think it'll open this summer?
Absolutely not. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. That would be...
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to open this summer.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
All right. Let's end the news on a happy note. We'll talk about some jackpots, and there's been some really good ones here lately. Ones that really kind of I wish were my jackpots. If they were my jackpots, you might not see me here on this podcast. I might be out spending some money, traveling around. First one was just a measly $26,000. This was over at Red Rock Casino. That's out in Summerlin, downtown Summerlin area, probably about 20 minutes from the Strip and a little closer to downtown. Yeah. Somebody was playing Keno out there and hit the jackpot, which Keno's one of those games we always say we're going to play and we never play it.
I just think it's so, like, vintage Vegas to
You
like
think
sit.
it's so Vegas vacation.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like classic Vegas, like vintage Vegas to sit in a Keno hall, like having a coffee in the morning, just with your slips, listening to the numbers, just kind of chilling. And I don't know. It's just one of those things that I just want to check off my list that I did that in Vegas.
You might be getting old. Bingo, Keno.
I am.
Are you going to start playing Baccarat now?
Baccarat, from what I've seen, I have been doing research, just always bet on the banker to win.
Okay.
That's pretty much the strategy. It's kind of like Pai Gow.
Like how you play craps?
Well, I bet on the house, yeah. But it's kind of like Pai Gow in where you're just dealt what you're dealt. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's it. You're not like, oh, I'm going to draw one or send this one back. And it's not like poker in that sense. It's just the banker gets 2 cards, you get 2 cards, they turn over, and somebody wins. That is it.
Okay.
And from what I've seen, pretty much the banker always wins.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll try Baccarat someday.
All right. So let's see. Somebody was down at the Cal playing like the triple diamond, just 3 reel, 1 single line pay slot machine. And they won $37,800.
Nice.
Which is pretty nice. Yeah, that's a nice payday.
I feel like those old ones without the bells and whistles seem to be...
That's what I hear too, that those were, because it's just like...
But they're not fun.
Right.
They're not fun. I need bells and whistles.
And you pay for that. You pay for the entertainment. It's the entertainment of the dragons and the buffaloes and all of that stuff. You pay for that.
I know. All right. Our next one was $45,000 over at Treasure Island, and this was on my nemesis, Mo Mummy. I have a love-hate relationship. I don't know if you guys have played the game Mo Mummy, and now they have one that's like Mo Mummy.
Yeah,
something like that. It sucks you in. If you've never played it, don't play it. It's terrible. It's just one of those games that sucks you in, and you think like, I just got to put in $20 more, and then you do, and then it didn't do anything and stuff. But so this actually makes me feel a little bit better that you can actually win.
People are winning.
Yeah, $45,000. I would definitely take that. And they were actually betting $2.50, which is more than I would bet when I'm playing Mo Mummy, just because I know better. Because I need my money to work as hard as it possibly can, so I have to do minimum bets. But they were down to their last spin, and they won.
90 cents credit they had left in the machine. They had 90 cents left in the machine and turned that $250 into $45,000. Now, could they have started with $40,000?
Maybe.
And been down to their last 90 cents? You never know.
Yeah.
Highly unlikely, but you never know.
You never know. I've met plenty of people who have won like hand pays, and they're like, well, now I'm only down this many thousands. And
we have met those people. We have family members that are those people. Like, oh, I won $4,500. I'm only down $3,000 now. And I'm like, wow, you've been here one day. How did you do that in one day?
We just have, I guess, when you live in Vegas, you have a different budget than when you visit Vegas. I guess. Yeah. All right, now getting into the big dogs. Somebody won $1 million down at Circa. That was a nice little jackpot.
And they didn't say where, they didn't share what they were playing, how they won it, which I thought was interesting. They didn't say if it was a slot machine, a table game, a sports bet, just that somebody, a lucky visitor, won $1 million.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, maybe they don't want to, maybe they're slowly getting rid of that machine.
Probably. It was probably gone as they're paying them out. There's a dolly wheeling that machine off the floor.
Actually, that's old school. They don't do the dollies anymore.
Oh, that's right. Just a card.
It's a computer card, and it's the same machine, just a different computer program.
Yep. It went from buffalo to goldfish.
Yeah. And then at the Venetian, and this is a game I love playing because it does have tons of bells and whistles.
And we've won on this game plenty.
Yeah, but not this.
Not this much, but we've won a little
Someone
bit.
was playing Dragon Link over in the Venetian, well, actually the Palazzo side casino, and won $1.2 million. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
One day.
Congratulations.
Yes. Yeah.
Good for you.
So lots of nice jackpots happening in Vegas.
Love to see that.
Yes, I love to see people win. Even if it's not me, I like to see people win.
Yeah, it's
just knowing that it's not always the casinos getting that money.
Yeah.
Especially when they had such a great 2024. Record-setting 2024.
Even if I'm not winning, I love to see people winning around me. I really, it's not fun when you've been around, I don't know, you guys probably have as well. Like you're gambling, you're on a slot machine and there's people like, oh, this is horrible. Oh, I never win. Oh, I did, like hitting them. And just having the worst time. I cash out immediately and I'm like, all right, I don't want to be around you. It's just like an energy drain. You know, if everybody won $1 million every time, Vegas would not exist.
Exactly.
Right? It's about entertaining and having fun doing it.
So you can look at it that way then.
Yes.
I guess, you know, like when you lose money, you are supporting Las Vegas and, and the entertainment capital.
Yes.
So, you know, you're welcome, Vegas. I feel like I've given my fair share. All right, moving on to weather. This is what you can expect this week in Vegas when it comes to the weather.
It's going to be a lot of cloudy days. Low 70s, but still low 70s in Vegas. It's perfect to be outside, especially if you have some overcast.
Yeah.
That's perfect for walking around and just being outside.
Yeah, and it's not even bad like for a pool day.
No.
You know.
Super chill at the pool.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but it does still cool down like at least 20 degrees overnight. So it's kind of the weird time of the year where you have maybe start your mornings off with a lighter jacket and then you don't need a jacket. And then in the evenings you want a warmer jacket.
And then overnight you want boots and a coat.
Yeah, you just don't want to be outside overnight. It's chilly. Unless you're not, well, I guess depends where you come from. Because I think low 50s is cold, but some people think call that summer.
60 degrees is like my line.
Yeah. For
weather in Vegas.
Yeah. All right, last but not least, let's get into the events happening this week in Vegas.
And this is in addition to all of the regular shows. I don't like saying regular shows because I feel like it takes away from them.
It makes it sound like they're not special, but they are. They're spectacular. There's like, I mean, we have so much comedy, so many magic illusionists.
Yeah, so much great entertainment, so many talented people in Vegas.
Singers, tribute shows. I mean, gosh, it's like, and that's what Vegas always was before all the sports were here and all the, you know, big residencies and the Sphere and all the craziness. That's what Vegas entertainment was. And it's still here and it's still awesome.
Yeah. So I don't mean like they're not good when I say regular. I guess we just get used to them because they're just always here and we always have them, which we love. And we support small shows, the smaller venues all the time. They work hard. A lot of those guys are working sometimes 2 shows a night.
Yeah.
So they're really working to entertain you.
Well, and you think of that, like some of the shows are like, I mean, if you're in like for example, like a Cirque show and just like the physical energy you have to do. And I mean, you're rehearsing too. So it's not like, you know, this is the first thing you're doing, but I mean, just physically and then mentally and just everything that goes along with it. So definitely support those small shows when you're here in Vegas, but let's get into those non-regular shows that are happening this week.
So let's start with Smokey Robinson over at the Venetian on April 2nd, 4th, and 5th.
And then we have Carrie Underwood over at Resorts World, Las Vegas. That's going to be also on the 2nd, the 4th, and the 5th.
Barry Manilow, who has a lifetime contract over at the Westgate, and that's going to be the 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
And then you have Boy with Ook over at Virgin Hotels, Las Vegas. That's going to be on the 4th.
And Kraftwerk over at the Wynn on the 4th.
And then the Eagles are back at the Sphere on the 4th and the 5th.
And now we've got Papa Roach over at the MGM Grand on the 5th.
And Brian McKnight is over at the Wynn on the 5th.
John Anderson and the Band Geeks at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas on the 5th.
And then getting into comedy, our comedian this weekend is going to be Aziz Ansari. He's going to be over at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace on the 5th.
Let's get into some sports. Las Vegas Aviators are at home at the Las Vegas Ballpark on the 1st through the 6th.
And that is out in downtown Summerlin, kind of right across from Red Rock Casino. So you can make a day of it. Hit up the casino, lots of fun shopping, restaurants in that area, and it's all very walkable.
Yes.
We've got the Vegas Golden Knights at T-Mobile Arena versus Edmonton on the 1st and Winnipeg on the 3rd.
And then we've got some golf, of course. There are so many golf courses around the Vegas Valley. I guess the closest one is going to be right at the Wynn, like right behind the Wynn. There's the Wynn Golf Course.
Yeah.
And then there's Downtown Golf Course. There's a Las Vegas Golf Course out there by the sign.
I feel like
we're all around.
Yeah, we're like Golf Course Central.
There's
and actually, it's beautiful golf weather too.
Oh, this is perfect to be out there. So we've got the T-Mobile match play over at Shadow Creek Golf Course, and that's going to be the 2nd through the 6th.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the Henderson Silver Knights. That is kind of, I guess, do you call it the minor league team for hockey? I know you call it minor league for baseball. So the minor league for hockey, the Henderson Silver Knights, they play out in Green Valley Ranch area in Henderson, and they play at the Lee's Family Forum. They'll be there on the 4th and the 5th. And
a pro tip, because we lived like a half a mile down the road from where they play, where their home stadium is, or their home arena is, when they have events, tons of traffic. So if you're heading out there for this game or really any event at that arena, give yourself plenty of time because the traffic is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Whether you're on surface streets or the highway, it's a mess. So just be ready for that.
Yeah, I would actually park over at, if it were me, I would park at Green Valley Ranch.
Or the casino, the district area.
Yeah, and just spend time there, walk over, and spend time after because
it's a mess.
Then you can, grab something to eat, grab a drink, play a slot machine or table game, and then let the traffic die down after the event.
Yeah. And then we've got the College Basketball Crown Semifinals Championship happening over at T-Mobile Arena, and that's going to be on the 5th and 6th.
And speaking of college basketball, we are still in March Madness, so all the March Madness stuff is still happening through at the sports books, the sports bars, all of that good stuff.
You're going to have the Final Four going on. It's going to be packed in all of the sports bars in and around Vegas, so be prepared for that. But it's a lot of fun. Just adds to that Vegas experience.
Yeah, and so in addition to all the people that are coming into town to be a part of that, there's also all the spring breakers, so that can mean, college age folks, as well as families bringing their children to Vegas.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. That's who kind of the crowds are going to be. So if you see a bunch of kids in Vegas, that's because they don't have school.
All right, guys, that's a wrap on this one. Thanks so much for watching, for supporting. We always want to hear from you. So hit us up on social media. We're Instagramming, we're TikToking, we're Facebooking. We're, of course, on YouTube as well. And if you're looking for even more Vegas, stay right here on Hey Vegas.